right, thanks for that, Carrie. And we'll continue to watch that live shot. But let's give you a bit of background as to what happened in that crash near Yonge and Finch. A man in his 20s dead after his car crashed into a pole in that area early this morning, happening at Dorison Homes just before 1 a.m. Paramedics working almost an hour to free the man from that vehicle, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. No other injuries were reported. The cause of this crash is still under investigation. All right, let's bring you back to a live look at the scene. And last look that you had there from Carrie is that they were, there you see the vehicle just being loaded up onto a tow here, and they're looking to get that out of the area here. So still could be a little bit of time before they load up this vehicle and clear out, but it looks like they have pulled off some of the police tape, so could open momentarily in the next few minutes or so. As soon as it does reopen, we will let you know. Again, this is at Doris and Holmes. So Doris currently closed off between Byng and Holmes. This is in the Yonge and Finch area. Again, as soon as this does reopen, we will let you know. Luckily, the traffic not heavy here at this time just yet. And we continue to follow stories out of the mass shooting along the Danforth. Of course, the grieving continues. Police now identifying 10-year-old Juliana Kozis of Markham as the second person killed in Sunday's shooting. Kozis was out with her family for ice cream when shots rang out. She was rushed to Sick Kids Hospital, where she later died. The family at this time requesting privacy. The city of Markham will be lowering flags to honor those killed and injured in the shooting. There will also be a book of condolences at the Markham Civic Center. And we're just getting this information into our newsroom now. The Islamic State claiming responsibility for the Toronto shooting. Again, we do only know that 2 people killed, 13 wounded here. The group's AMAQ news agency is saying this, that they are claiming responsibility for the shooting. We do not have more information on this yet, and no cause or proof that they would be behind this shooting. But again, this is a story that we are just getting in right now and that we will continue to follow for you through the morning. Meanwhile, the focus right now is much on the victims, and Malvern Collegiate Institute, that is the one school where one of the victims went. It has opened its doors to the community to help cope with this tragedy. Reese Fallon is the 18-year-old woman killed in the shooting that went to that school, a former student. Samantha Price and Miranda Lee were among the 13 people injured. They were friends of hers as well. Their condition is not yet known. We can show you this, though. Bouquets, cards, candles, tears of staff and students remembering the victims. Social workers and therapy dogs were brought in to help comfort the mourners here. Fallon's former classmates remembering her as someone special.
She was extremely nice, I'll tell you that. She was funny, caring, kind.
How are you feeling?
Devastated.
And the Toronto District School Board has said supports would be available to any students who need them. A city council voting in favor of a number of initiatives aimed at tackling gun violence in Toronto. The vote just happening late yesterday. It includes 40 new CCTV cameras and audio detection technology called ShotSpotter that locates the sound of gunshots and immediately notifies police. Now, council also voted yesterday to ask the federal government to ban the sale of handguns in Toronto and for the province to ban the sale of handgun ammunition. Mayor John Tory also asking the feds to look at implementing mandatory minimum sentences for gun traffickers and tougher screening for mental health issue for those acquiring gun firearm permits. A request for Toronto Police Services to establish a gun amnesty or buyback program was also approved by council. Today is the last day of the session, and coming up later on here on Breakfast Television in the next hour, Mayor John Tory will be joining us to talk about all of these initiatives. Meanwhile, the Greektown community will be holding a vigil this evening for people to honor the victims. And our Tammy Sutherland live right now along the Danforth with the details, and yet another step, Tammy, for the community to try to return to some sense of normalcy here.
That's right, Melanie. And they've been doing this, really paying vigil all day long yesterday. You can see how much the vigil here on Danforth has grown, with flowers being added and more messages. I'm just going to take you for a little bit of a walk just west on Danforth near Christina's. This is one of the restaurants that was affected as well by the shooting. And you'll see just as we round the corner here just how many flowers have been placed down here in the interim. We have it's grown significantly here, as well as over in the fountain area of Alexander the Great Park. Now, it will be down at Danforth and Bowden where this vigil tonight will start. At 7 p.m., people are being asked to gather there at Danforth and Bowden, just in front of the Danforth Church, with candles and lanterns. They're being asked to bring them down, although there will be some available there. And then that vigil will then proceed to walk down Danforth, stopping here at Alexander the Great Park for a short ceremony at that time as well. It's being organized by the Greektown BIA, Danforth BIA, as well as Eastminster Church here along Danforth. They want to be able to pay their respects again, and it's expected that hundreds of people will be attending. Right now, a Facebook group does say that about 350 people will be there. Again, this will start at 7 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend. It likely will be a large service once this gets underway. So again, that's at 7 p.m. tonight. Mel, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Tammy, thank you so much for that. And I just want to bring to your attention again the breaking news that we've been following here on BT, that ISIS claiming responsibility for this mass shooting, and a statement from the group here that we're seeing saying that the attacker was a soldier of the Islamic State and carried out the attack in response to calls to target the citizens of the coalition countries. We're going to continue to follow this story here on Breakfast Television. Meanwhile, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to go downstairs to Winston and Roger.